Hey guys, before we dive into this week's video, I want to tell you about something cool we've been working on. Over on the site, DIYcargotrailer.com, we've been working on putting together kind of a course about how to build a trailer like this, kind of from start to finish. We've assembled all the resources that we use, we filmed new videos, a bunch of written content, all kinds of cool stuff. It's all going to be available in a course, launching early, like spring 2022, I think. If that's something that would interest you, then head over to the site, DIYcargotrailer.com, drop your email, and you guys will be the first to know. I'm going to be looking for some folks to kind of test some of that thing out too, so if any of that interests you, then be sure to let me know. All right, guys, let's dive in. All right, hello again from the future. Now, you'll again notice that I'm standing in a pretty much completed camper. That's because our videos lag pretty far behind the actual progress that we've made. We actually get to test the camper last weekend, but nevertheless, we're going to keep the build progress going. And in this video, we're going to talk all about walls. Both this cool shiplap that you see behind me, as well as this gorgeous tile and moss wall, which I'm very pleased with how it turned out. And we're going to talk about all that in this video, so stay tuned. All right, today working on getting some shiplap in. So I've already done this little wall right here just to make sure it went smoothly and it was super easy. I got through the whole thing without even thinking about filming because it's just so fast and easy to put up. So let's set it up and we'll do this other wall behind us. Hale's gonna pounce on something. This is pretty anticlimactic, Caitlin.
It is, but he's gonna do it, I promise. There.
Pretty nose, look at her.
She does. Stupid butt.
He's so mean. What is he doing?
This is the most still I've seen him in a standoff. He's just gonna stand up.
Pretty nose.
She won't look at him.
Don't get me. Well, we finished the shiplap. Looks pretty good.
It looks fantastic.
What do you think?
I think it looks great.
We'll take the backsplash over to the edge. You know, I think I'm probably just going to take this all the way down. That would look weird, I think.
Yeah.
I'll take that all the way down. And then over here is done as well. Bit above the door. Around the air conditioner. And on this side, we'll take the backsplash to the edge of the countertop there. And I also did above the door over there too in the white, so we'll paint that. So
your brother's mean, isn't he?
He looks good.
I'm sorry. Hello.
Hello. All right, so we have accomplished a lot in the last couple days.
Yes.
We have a
2
lot
weekends
of
worth.
Yeah, 2 weekends worth.
Corey made me a to-do list.
I did. So we're trying to get through a lot of small projects. We haven't been filming.
A lot of detail.
Yeah, we haven't been filming every single project that we've been doing just because we're really just trying to get through it. But I'll give you a little update of what we got going on right now. Okay, so first of all, Caitlin has sanded all of the shiplap. We put all the shiplap up on the walls. I used wood putty to fill in all the finishing nail holes where it's attached to the wall there, and she has sanded all that. That was a very messy job yesterday. We've also put all the cabinet hardware on now, both there and over there. You can see all our cabinet hardware is on. I got all the countertops in, but they're not mounted. I do have them finished though. And what else we got done? Oh yeah, we added all the bed rails in. These are from IKEA. Well, you got all the sticky stuff up.
I do.
How did you do it?
Carefully.
Yeah, so it comes in this roll. See this? And it's sticky on one side, just like wallpaper or something, and you just like...
It's double-sided. It's like basically double-sided tape.
Yeah, so you just stick it up there and then you smooth it out really good, and pretty much it. Then you peel this layer off, this side of it off when you're ready to put the tile up, which, you know, it will do next, so we'll see.
And then we can just lay grout on top of it.
Yep, so you can see we're gonna do tile over here, and then along this wall, and then over here. All right, we've got our first pieces of tile up. Caitlin is putting them in here individually. This is really hard. We've never placed any kind of tile before, and this hexagon shape is pretty tall. I don't know if you can see it from the front. You know, it looks pretty good on the camera, though.
It does it? Good.
Yeah, it doesn't look super obvious. There's a big gap right here. I'm not sure you can really tell, but we'll see if the grout hides it. Hopefully it'll be fine. It's hard. We resorted to doing them individually over here on this side where we just have a tiny little row to do. It's hard. All right, so what the hell are you doing in here?
What?
What are you doing?
The walls are too close together, so I'm trying to make it look like they match.
Yeah, so we're getting the tile in this corner, which is pretty tricky, actually.
Because the wall isn't even. So I've got to shove these in there. And it's making really awful cracking noises. Like, that's not good enough.
No, that one looks like shit.
So I have to push.
Quit touching the stickiness.
I have to, because I have to push the wall back to get it to fit in there. Or you do it.
Oh, we just not use this one. We use a smaller one.
Okay, then make it. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. Yeah, this isn't going to be sticky anymore. My arm hair has touched like all of these.
Wow.
Yep.
It's like not very good.
I know. That's terrible, Corey.
That's great. That's fine.
Corey.
All right, Caitlin has got all the tile done. Check it out. It looks really nice. At least the tile is laid.
And we're about to grout.
Yes, and we're going to grout for the first time. We've never done this before.
Nope.
We're also going to do a cool little pattern up here, which you guys will see in a little bit. But we've never done any grout before. And I found this material. It's really simple. It's a pre-mixed grout. We've just watched a couple videos on how to grout, how to use this particular product. We've never done this before, so we're going to see.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, we're going to see how it goes. We got our water back there. Got our sponge right here. Got our grout thing. What is this? A trowel? Something.
Rubber trowel?
It's a grout float. There it is.
There it is.
Grout float.
Yeah.
Good thing it has a label on it, because otherwise we wouldn't know. All right, so let's do it.
Okay.
So you get a bunch like here.
Straight up. Oh, and short movements. Okay. I was like, what's happening here? Okay. I think I can do this again.
Scoopy, scoopy.
Scoopy, scoopy. It's hard to get it in there.
Yeah, no, so many times.
Interesting. And it doesn't matter for that part because it's all going to get covered anyway.
Looks pretty good. It's all cleaned in. We're almost done. Just putting the last little washes on. This one's still got to be done, but overall, it looks pretty good.
You did good.
Well, what are you doing? Caitlin had a pretty crazy idea that we saw on YouTube in a van build to put moss on a wall, and we're gonna try to do it.
We'll see if we have it. This doesn't look good. This one doesn't look good. I only have so much of our Etsy moss.
Yeah, we bought the moss off of Etsy. We can drop the link down in this description. This is crazy. We'll see if it turns out looking good or if it looks like crap.
What do you mean?
What do you mean, what do I mean? If it looks bad, we can't keep it.
Shit.
Caitlin's just using a hot glue gun to put this up. And we just left the sticky paper up, which I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I guess we'll see.
I don't think it's hurtful.
Okay.
I'm just gonna like throwing glue on it and smacking it up on the wall.
There's no way this is gonna stay.
What do you mean?
There's no way this is gonna stay. Just hot glue? This seems nuts.
That's how you do it for the, what's it? I tried to tell you super glue and you were like, no.
I don't think super glue is wet enough. I think you need something thicker. So we're gonna see if the hot glue works. I think this seems crazy, but that's just me. So behind me here is the pretty much completed moss wall and the tile, which I'm going to show off here in a second. But a lot of time has passed. I pretty much finished the camper since we have worked on this moss wall since that earlier video footage there. And I kind of wanted to show you the finished product and kind of give you some brief tips about kind of what we ended up doing. Now, first of all, it took more than one box of moss. I will link the Etsy seller who we bought the moss from originally, but we did have some trouble with it because she sent us this one type of moss originally, and then we bought a second box because we didn't have enough to do it. And the second box that they sent was not like the same as the first one. It was really thick and it stuck out way too far and it was not going to be usable. So we actually had to message them and get them to send us a new box that would kind of match the old box. It was kind of tricky. So if you do end up buying some of this preserved moss off of Etsy like we did, then you got to make sure you tell them what you're using it for, and you kind of want it all to be, you know, the same, thin. You want something that's thin, right? So if it sticks too far out from the wall, you won't be able to open doors and things like that. So it's pretty frustrating. So let me show you a couple things about this moss wall. So here is the completed moss wall, and I have to say it turned out really, really nice. We actually even replaced some of that we put on in the bottom there in the original video footage that we had because it just didn't really match that well, so we were able to pry it off and then put the new moss back in place. You know, you saw in our tile that we just sort of did the pattern and just kind of did a staggered sort of pattern, like with all the tile all the way up, and then just sort of filled in the moss later, sort of as we went. Now you saw Caitlin using the glue gun to put on some of that moss, and like we said in the video, we did not really think that was going to be super effective. So what we actually ended up doing is getting some really heavy duty liquid nails, and we did the rest of it with liquid nails. Really thick on the back of this, and it's glued on there really, really good. Now it does make a really big mess when you're working on it, so you got to make sure you kind of wear gloves, otherwise your fingers are going to turn green and all that kind of thing, right? So, you know, we've had this thing on here for about 3 months now, and it's stayed and it's done really well. So I think this is going to be a viable long-term type of gig. We probably will eventually have to replace it, but that's no big deal. But like I said, you have to use that liquid nails to get it to stick on there really good. Now the next thing that we had to change a little bit, now it's a little dirty on the edge of this because I was working on it yesterday, but we had to trim the crap out of this side of this cabinet. Like you notice, this is a pretty small space compared to this side over here. You see how much wider this side is, and that's because, you know, for us to get this cabinet door open, this thing ended up sticking out pretty far, right? So I had to trim a good deal of that off, and you can't actually see it very well, but there is a crack that you can kind of see in the cabinet. I don't think that's really that noticeable unless you're just looking for it, but you can't actually see in the cabinet. But for us to be able to open it and close the cabinet to get it past the moss without tearing all the moss off, you know, I had to do a little trimming right there. And you can kind of see how we just pushed it all the way up against the linear action, or you see kind of how we pushed it all the way up against the aluminum there, and then underneath as well, all the way back to the wall. So that is it. That's the moss wall. If you have any questions about that, be sure to drop them in the comments below. The other thing that I wanted to show off is all of the completed tile, because we did not really get a lot of good video footage of this originally, but this is what we ended up doing with all of the tile. Now, it's not perfect. Now, you can't see it super well on camera, but there are some kind of thicker grout lines in here that didn't end up looking very pretty. That corner ended up not being super pretty, but you know, all of it turned out pretty dang good. And we went all the way to the floor on this wall, and then here on the opposite side we did all of that too, and under the windows as well. And you can sort of see some of the thicker grout lines in there, which didn't turn out perfect. You know, we mentioned this earlier in the video, but I don't think I would do the hexagon tile again as my first time relaying tile. It was really hard to get it perfect. You know, something like subway tile would be much more realistic. If you've never done any tile work before, then I don't know, keep it simple. We got a fun little project here. Caitlin's been helping me all morning.
Yay.
She says I've been a butthole, which is probably true.
I'm the meanest person I know.
Apparently I'm mean when we're taping up. So this is what we're doing. All right, so we are going to paint the inside of the trailer, all the benches, the walls, everything white. So we got everything taped up because we're going to use the paint sprayer. Would it be faster to have painted it by hand? Probably, but you know, we like to be difficult.
We already did it.
Already did it. It's too late.
It's too late.
So we're going to paint this. And I got my benches down here. We're going to do this first in the sunlight. And it's windy as hell today. It's an awful day to use a paint sprayer, so we're probably going to ruin it.
Yeah.
Yay. All right, let's do it.
Alright, use our spray.
Here we go. Everything's nice and white. Still got to take the tape off of the actuators, but right now it looks pretty good. I got them to match the color of this with some Sherwin-Williams paint. I actually picked up at Lowe's and did it with a spray gun, as you saw. So all those walls are pretty good. So I'm gonna do up above there. So we didn't do everything with the spray gun because it'd be hard to get above the bed. So after let this dry for a little bit, we're gonna lower the bed, paint the rest by hand. It's gonna be good. Man, it's windy today. Got these things drying out here too.
Hey Corey, what are you doing?
Well, staining the underside of this, which is
Challenging.
a pain in the ass. Like bending over in weird freaking ways, and
Gonna have
also,
a backache tomorrow.
I'm trying not to touch any of the white, which is kind of hard,
Yeah.
but it's going. You know. I think it's gonna be a pretty color. Have you seen
I
it
think
yet?
so. Have I seen it yet?
Yeah, it's like not quite as dark as the birch, but not quite as light as this. So it's like
Yeah.
a kind of a medium
It's
between.
a very different color.
Yeah. I think it'll be fine.
Yeah.
It's always in a little coat and always be a little darker.
Yeah.
I think we'll just do that.
Okay.
All right, and here is the finished product. You see we got the stain on. I did do another coat last night before I went to bed. And here is all the white. You see the line up there. I still got to sand and paint the upper part up there, which I will do that later. Probably this week sometime. And here's the benches all painted in here. Everything looks nice. Those are our columns where all our switches are going to go on both sides up there. And Caitlin's got her moss wall started as well, which looks pretty sick. Super stoked with this. I'm not sure you can tell, but it doesn't really look like it as much in the camera, but the ceiling here above the bed is pretty dang close to the birch ceiling up there. So, you know, we were kind of going with a continuous look, but we didn't want to make it too heavy. So super pleased with how it turned out. Really starting to look finished now, guys. All right, that's gonna do it. That is all the wall work that we did in the camper. It all turned out pretty nicely. We're really happy with it. The moss wall was kind of a risk and a creative thing that we decided to put in here. You know, we've took it on a trip so far and it's held up pretty nicely. So, you know, I think I would do the moss wall again. You know, I hope it lasts. I don't know what I'm gonna do if it doesn't, because we don't have any more of that tile left. So we'll have to figure something crazy out to fill in that space if we ever decide to take it out. But, you know, I think it looks really cool and I'm really happy with it. So, you know, I hope you like this video. If you want more content like this, be sure to subscribe to the channel and check out the website, DIYcargotrailer.com, where we have lots of resources and things like that for how to build a camper just like this. And I think it's gonna do it. We'll see you guys next time. May the force be with you.